it seemed like was suppressing or slowing us down. I don't know if y'all remember, 10 years ago I started talking about the McDonald's concept of Masjid. McDonald's concept is like when I was building began on my brother Tufel's house, and then I built that thing out there. Okay, in any city, after we've taught brothers, our project, we're going to go to such and such a city. Or I may have already bought a house. It could be a simple little house, just like the houses we have here. Then we put a box on the side of it. A box that'll hold 100 people. Like, say, the little annex back there is 600 square feet. You know, yeah, that's 600 square feet. That's, I think 20 by 20 and 20 by 30. Yeah, that's right. 20 by 30. Yeah, that's 600 square feet. It's enough to hold 100 people. Okay, the little house that you buy already have all the facilities, right? Bathroom, you may put another bathroom, one for women, one for... It has a kitchen, right? It has all those facilities. It has little, if it has 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, it don't make no difference. Those little classrooms. And then you stick a box on the side. I can do that all by myself in 1 week, maybe 2 at the most. That's the masjid. It costs $3,000-4,000. The little house, if we do it in a poor Negro neighborhood right now, it would still be 20,000. Don't let it be in places like Detroit, where they're giving houses away. Cleveland, Youngstown, all of those, anywhere. In our neighborhood, it's still cheap. So we come, and I can go there by myself, tell the brothers to wait, or say, y'all come on, we buy a little house. I've been involved in the house, cash money. And we open up and get started. We got a copier, we start going around, handing out flyers, and the masjid is open 24 hours a day. We got a crew, so maybe we've had bad luck, so we only have 3 people. That's enough for them. You're going to be the Imam, who you want to be you're going to be the Imam, fine. Then you're going to be the Wazir, you're going to be the such and such and such. We got a team already. We go around, call the people. We do that, we can do 3 a year, 2 a year. If we want to roll at it, we can do 4 or 5 a year. It don't take no time. And we have a pattern already rolled out. So for us to get from 2 centers to, and we can choose a little house on a big lot or anything, or 2 lots next to it, 3 lots, combine it together. And, we can do what we want. After you roll it for a year, 2 or 3 years, you got 100 people now, so you have to build a masjid from the ground up or what have you. But that's cheap too, because all we do is build a bigger box next to the one that we have. You see what I mean? We don't need it. It's not fancy, but it's good. It's brand new. But anyway, all right. So that's project management, fundraising, project management, community development. Remember, always that different from other people, we always stick to the core of what we're about. Masjid, school, business, geographical integrity. And the front or the side of the little house, if it's the right neighborhood, if we can get away with it, we just put a little store right beside it, a simple little store, little neighborhood store. Milk, butter, eggs, sugar, stuff like that, to have people coming and going. But it gets you part of the neighborhood and we have the things that we need, the things that we eat, and what have you. College of Islamic Movement Studies, we already got that together. We got all the work already done. Department of Strategic and Islamic Studies, we already got that done. We use the proper scientific management method. Yeah. We have already used the scientific method of management, and everything that we do has been that type of thing. I can read here. This is from Strategy. This is, 2007. Introduction. There's nothing more difficult to carry out, nor more doubtful of success, nor more dangerous to handle than to initiate a new order of things. Despite this fact, Islamic workers must dream big and see opportunities where others see failures. It seems that for the person who does not daily dream a while, their star will grow dark, and that star by which all of our work and everyday existence is guided. We have a little bit about the contemporary Islamic revival has had its share of great leaders and theorists named. We got Imam Hassan al-Banna, Malcolm X, Imam Khomeini, Dr. Khalid Siddiqui, and what have you. We studied all of them. So we're prepared for this. It says here in the highlight, it is of paramount importance that the Muslim leader of today must not follow the dictates of his nafs. In other words, don't be scared and don't want a whole lot of this dunya. Applied strategy. Strategy deals with unpredictable, yet it tries to predict the precise way in which many forces could interact with each other, be distorted by nature and human or environmental circumstances, yet remain predictable to the trained strategist. The essence of strategy is to build a posture that is so strong in selective ways that you or your organization can achieve your goals despite the unforeseeable ways external forces may interact with each other. I just want to read a part of this again. Strategy deals with the unpredictable, yet it tries to predict the precise way in which many forces could interact with each other, be distorted by nature and human or environmental circumstances, yet remain predictable to the trained strategist. Now, this is 2007, so this is what we have to do. We've done it before. That's why we write it. We've already done that. All the forces operating inside of our environment, right? They're happening. Now, when you know what you're talking about, you can predict your environment, right? Like forecasting. Okay, everybody's been coming here know that we've been so accurate, it's just unbelievable. But that's to the trained eye, trained strategist. We have to figure out, we already know the behavior pattern of America. We already know the behavior pattern of the immigrants, right? We already know basically what the goals of the system is, and we know the time that we're living in. And in the same article, we have the part dealing with, I'll get back to it in a minute, in fact. We have the part dealing with Islamic agenda hijacked. we'll let an Islamic agenda go for just 1 minute. But what we have to do right now, and what we did at that time was, we had to predict or analyze the environment in which we live. How are all of these forces, some natural, some unnatural, some applied, right? Some made up. So we talked a lot at that time about what was called shaping and herding. Y'all remember that? Shaping and herding. If the United States wants to do certain things, they have to shape. We knew, it's ridiculous. We knew that they shape and herd people by how they did us. They turned me out as a dope dealer. They saw this black stuff. They got a lot of friends. This is dangerous in Oakland at this time. So we'll get a couple of his friends to lead him in selling dope, marijuana. And they did. And they know that I know they did. Because I give a lecture and I'll mention their initials, and as soon as I get back to Oakland, I'll see a guy that I haven't seen him in 25 years. The same one that did what he did. They know what when I'm talking, I know what I'm talking about to them. All of the dealing in South America, all of that, the planning, what next stage. I told my friends I was going to go to Red China or Vietnam, the Golden Triangle, all that stuff. In those days, that's what you knew about. I didn't think about South America till I read a Newsweek. It was a Newsweek, yeah. The white man almost put it under the door at the hotel I was staying. Guess what it had in there? So what people are doing, how they're going to South America, buying cocaine, and how they're bringing it back to America. The whole thing laid out. I said, shoot, I can do that. Why go back to Mexico and start in Mexico? Go all the way to South America. I don't say that they wrote the article for me, but they sure made sure I got it. And I said, and when I got there, it was people, oh, we didn't want you here, we'll lead you over here. Okay, now we got you there, we're going to cut that off, but we're going to send you up here to Colombia. That's where we want you. And I dutifully went right along. Shaping and herding. They do it to everybody. They do it to the movements. Shape. It's like herding cattle. Right? They don't whoop every cow and make them go. They send the dogs over. You run over there, and then the cows will run over there. Send one over there. He run over there. And they sheep herders or whatever. Right? You can herd them right along. So you want to keep the Negroes going this way. So you do this, that, then you shape and herd them. You by this operant behavior. That's how they've done the Muslims in America. The Muslims saying and doing what they're doing over there because of the way they've been treated. And a lot of them, years ago, were Ikhwani type. All of them, every last one of them, are Ikhwani type. I'm talking about Ahmed Sakar, all of them, all those old timers. These guys are all Ikhwanis, all them bums over there, and every one of them. Ikhwani, even in Plainfield, Indiana, everybody taught the class. Everybody that would visit would be Ikhwan, even all kinds of Ikhwan. I got another book on management who came and taught that. Sudanese, who from Sudanese Ikhwan, all of them. Everybody. Okay. They wasn't sissified as they are now. But we remember the changeover in 1986, it started changing. But anyway, we're going to get back to what we are. Shaping and herding means a very well trained one. They had a first World Trade Center, right? The First World Trade Center, they put the Muslims on the defensive. Remember the old days, dawah, dawah, dawah? Do you remember before the World Trade Center 2001? Remember all the demonstrations for Palestine, Bosnia, right here in D.C. Have you seen one lately? Absolutely not. Because after 9/11, they had begun to shape the behavior by what they do. That's why we was telling them this movement will be events driven. They're going to do stuff to you. I have in one of these articles about confrontation or cooperation. I say you're not going to get no cooperation. You're going to have confrontation. Because that's what the government, yeah, here it is right here, in fact. Cooperation over confrontation. Do you mind if I read a little bit of that? This approach was very popular throughout the 1990s. It was a concept favored by the American Muslim Council, AMC. They felt that the Muslims had those two choices before them with relation to America. The path of confrontation meant that they would stand against unjust U.S. policy at home and abroad, and thus perpetuate an adversarial position with relation to the United States government. On the other hand, the path of cooperation, which they took, involved a sunshine or blue sky policy. If we could convince the American system of our loyalty and allegiance to every American, to everything American, we could have a smooth relationship with the U.S. government and eventually make it favorable for our Muslim interests. And then I'll just read a little bit more. We at Masjid al-Islam tried to convince these fellow believers that the nature of their relationship with the United States government was out of their hands. Those who controlled American policies had already chosen a policy of confrontation in order to do away with the growing Islamic menace around the world. This policy was pre-planned and to be maintained under the watchful eye of Saudi Arabia and Israeli intelligence. Remember the Triangle of Terror? A lot of people think it's new. This is what we wrote then. It was old when we wrote this. This is 2007, 10 years ago. It was already old. What we saw over there was exactly this. They've been shaped, they've been herded by what they do. The World Trade Center, bombings in Europe, bombings all over, and the guys leave their address book and phone number, you know, when they blow up a place in France. All of that stuff. Shaping and herding. They do stuff and it shapes your behavior. It puts you on the defensive. It takes you off the offensive. That's what they've been doing to us. Okay, but it tells you what we thought about it. We ain't going for it. You don't have a choice. That's why they literally not only dislike, they almost hate us for telling the truth. Remember when the ad would say, we're going to do da-da-da-da-da-da. And I said, don't you remember such and such and such when the FBI and when Janet Reno, he would say, I said, well, then he would go on and get off the track. And I said, don't you know that every organization, every movement first have to have a vision, a picture of what they're about? I said, that management scheme that you're talking about is favored by American business, which is losing. They have short-term business goals for a quarter. So everybody else around the world, they invest for the big future. But America, the presidents and the vice presidents and chief executive orders officers get their money by what they do that quarter.
And then you rolled up.
So they're not gonna invest resources now for 5 years or 10 years down the road, which they should, because they're gonna be gone by then. And they don't get any benefit for that. You see what I mean? That's what, and I told, he said, yeah, that's right. I said, well, why would we follow them? Then they had the other Arab. I knew he was sent there by the police, by the head police. We have to work with Abe, he didn't say Abe Foxman, but he said
ADL. He said ADL. ADL.
We have to work with ADL. We have to work with all them bums. I didn't say nothing. I said, hey, that's when I closed up. I said, ain't no sense to me. I'm just going to start. Y'all remember you heard somebody over there hollering and causing fitness? That was me. Because there ain't no sense of talking. The people, it's all over. They don't want to hear nothing. The reason they invited us there was to show us where they are. You know, and if they showed us the whole picture like that, a lot of people, it'll break their spirit. They'll say, we can't do it because nobody's with us. But for me, I like it. Every time they show me their whole hand, I say, oh, I'm glad you. It depresses. 99% of the people will stop when they see you have no allies, you have nobody with you, you don't have a chance. Yes.
It was a good experience for me because, I mean, it's one thing to hear you talk about being in that type of environment. But when you're there yourself, and you're just looking around the room and you're speaking nothing but from Quran and Sunnah, and all your brothers and sisters, they're just looking at you like you insane.
You're right. Yeah.
And, I got disheartened for a second, just being honest. But then I remembered that, that's
what it would do. If you acted natural, that's the purpose. The other thing is because he touched me on the side. He said, yeah, you're right. He says, when we do our programs talking about care, we do at least a weekend. I said, you can't bring people here. Remember, they got people from all over the country. Right. Why would they bring people from all over the country to do that unless it's theater? It's the same theater that they pulled almost 10 years before, 2007, in California. That's why I asked, are you still in Kansas City? Because I said, the crew is here. So all I'm doing is watching and waiting. And I don't know if you remember, the lawyer come up to me and he's asking his stuff about Syria. Right. He's there to give the impression that everybody's against Shias. That's what happened before the president of Iran. All of them bums, some of the same, they homeboys, want to convince us that we have the wrong analysis. We're saying correctly that the dumb Saudis, the Americans, and the Zionists, and they're still doing it up to today. They bombed 65 Shias the day before yesterday, I think. Right? Still going on. Right. They handed Iran independence by isolating it and cut it off, right? Iran is the most independent country in that region, basically anywhere else, and it's doing good. And they produce their own stuff. Why, when you cut them off, man, they got petrochemicals, they got all kind of super duper plastics, they got hybrid agricultural, they doing everything. I mean, I'm a vegetarian. I went and bought lettuce. The lettuce was so heavy, where you can buy lettuce and squeeze it, some of it's like, air, and you keep feeding until you get a solid one. You know what I mean? You pay the same price, but it's twice as much lettuce. The tomatoes was twice as heavy as the tomatoes here, and deep red, real. And the eggs are yellow. Remember the old time yellow eggs inside? They sell them as brown eggs now. You know what I mean? With real yellow. This is like the Mexicans won't buy these American eggs. They had egg shortage. They said them things don't taste like eggs. We didn't got used to it. But the point is this, look. So here's what they wanted to do. They showed me exactly where they was coming from. Number one, they convinced them people to join with America 100%, and they did. Here's what you're going to get for it. You're going to get, your payoff is, you remember they talked about Keith Ellison to run the Democrat, that's the payoff. See, you stick with us, because they had told me, we're making a lot of progress, you don't even know. I said, you ain't making no progress, because you're going the wrong way. You know, I'm pretending like we just talking low. You making progress all right, going the wrong way, going backwards. You know, that's the progress. And he has homeboy, Keith Ellison. You ought to see him. They look like they just two peas in a pod. Why would they want to make the head of the Democratic Party a Muslim Negro? What has he done? What is it, right? And old Barney is backing him. It's all a setup. Yes.
They took care of him before he reigned, Keith Ellison, because he was actually going to do some serious Islam.
Yeah.
Where he tell a story. They scrutinized him before he even got to run, man. Did you say this? Did you say that about Islam? Man, he retracted all that stuff, man. That's how come he became a member of the team.
Yeah.
See, they don't deal with reality.
Right.
And also, the Quran tells you, I know that don't mean nothing to them,
Right.
that there's an ongoing battle between Haq and Batil. That's just the way Allah got it. You can't get away from it.
Right.
And they think America is going to help them get away from Haq and Batil. That's pitiful.
That's right. Okay, let me try to speed up because this one, you know, this one you can break it up into maybe parts. Sixes, you know what I mean? I saw one on there that looked real good. It was the one on deception, CIA deception. From way back, it's 6 parts. So
Okay.
you can break up any of them you like into 5 or 6 parts. Okay. Project management, not one full. Okay. Coalition work. Okay. So we'll automatically be into our so-called coalition work. But here's the thing. We have to tell the truth. But in the era of eloquence, at the same time. In other words, we want to ensure possible future cooperation. Remember, wherever we go, we're not going there by ourselves. Future cooperation means with everybody that wants to see a new world. We're not the only one. Some people want to see clean rivers. Some people want to see billions of trees. Those are all our allies. Some people just want to see social justice. All those people are our allies. So we have to tell the truth. But that's what that 4-year-old theme of era of eloquence means. We have to be eloquent, but we don't want to run people away. Because that's what the leadership during this period is different from other periods. Remember, to be successful, the leadership have to adjust to the environmental circumstances that they're living in. They have to be able to, like I said before, look at all the environmental circumstances and the historical perspective and how natural and unnatural. That means how people act naturally under circumstances, certain circumstances. And unnatural circumstances mean that the CIA, the FBI are going to initiate their own agenda. Now, how is the natural and the unnatural and the historical, right, all going to blend together? It's going to produce something. Now, what we have to do is predict what it's going to produce. Guess what? We've done it every time. That's not bragging, it's just true. We sit here and do it. We've been able to do that. They have not been able to do it. That's why they don't know nothing. It's not arrogance saying they don't know nothing, but they sit there and they tell us we got to work with the ADL and they're nice people and you know, it means that they're there to try to break our heart. That's what their goal is, yes.
And actually, they had already done that. They were saying it at the meeting, but it seems like, well, no, it doesn't seem like ISNA specifically had already started working with the Yahoo and everybody else as far as how to react during this phase. So
somebody, I got to, it was some of them are right around here in D.C. The so-called Reformed Jews are going to, they must don't remember, but it's okay. We like everybody. We want to work with good people too, but we're not crazy about who we're working with. But that meeting was already, that agenda was already worked out.
right.
And there's nothing new on the agenda. It's the same old agenda. That meeting was held specifically for us. It wasn't held for them. Because I kept telling them, I said, you can't do this, man. You can't have people come from California and Florida and all of that and have a 2-hour meeting and then scribble stuff on the board and leave.
Yeah.
You can't do that. I said, you can't do that. It's unfair. But most of the people knew why they was there already. Because they didn't react to no truth, no matter what we said. Remember they're talking about, we're making progress on the law, and remember the white lady is ACLU? And I said, well, Kuramasi is still in effect, isn't it? I mean, legally they apologized for what they did to the Japanese in World War II, but didn't the Supreme Court go against the Supreme Court upheld Kuramasi? What did the white lady say? The brother is telling the truth there, and I tried to slip out of it. In other words, they can still put them, they can't put me and you, of course they can't, they feel like it, but they can put all them immigrants in the penitentiary when they get ready. The Supreme Court has said it's all right. All of them was immigrants mostly, not their children was born here. Those are immigrants. They can put them in jail any day of the week they want under the same law